Is it just me, or we've been stuck inside for way too long? And some of you have been putting this off for way too long. Today, we're changing this. What's going on, everyone? Marty here at BRS Extreme, coming back to you with yet another video. Today's a very special day because it is the first video of a 4, maybe 5, I'll see how I feel, video series on backpacking for beginners. A lot of what I'll be covering in the next 4 to 5 weeks is extremely subjective. Gear, techniques, ways to do things out in the backcountry. Listen, there's not one single answer for everyone, but what I've tried to do is really to weed out all the fluff and really kind of write and design a blueprint, a very simple blueprint, step-by-step process that you can follow to make sure you're successful on your first backpacking trips. Before we dive into the meat of today's video, make sure to subscribe to the channel and hit that bell notification so you are notified every time new content comes out. Here at BRS Extreme, we cover all things outdoors, from hiking, bikepacking, backpacking, portaging, canoe trips. If it's done outside, count us in. Now, if you're ready to go on your first backpacking trip, give me that thumbs up and let's dive in. Today's video, we're gonna cover our big 3. Your big 3 is very simple. It's basically the 3 heaviest items and the items that are gonna be usually the most costly. So we're talking about your backpack, we're talking about your shelter and your sleep system. And I always like to throw in a 4th one in there. So I call it the big 3 plus 1, which is your cook set. So the first stop is your backpack. Now, for your backpack, there are different kinds and there are a lot of different options for you out there, from frameless to framed, to the different capacity they can have and the different materials that they have, to keep it simple for everyone. What I recommend for a new backpacker is a simple, anywhere between 40 to 50 liter capacity framed backpack. My backpack of choice that I have, and it's the only backpack that I have, is my good old Arc'teryx Bora 80. This thing is sturdy, it's strong, it's lasted me for over 15 years. I bought this in 2005. It's 2020 and it's still doing its job. It's still rocking. The only problem I have with this is I bought a large when I should have bought a medium back then. So it's a little uncomfortable on my back, but it hasn't stopped me to go out at all. Now, you can't purchase this backpack, but there are great features on this backpack that I would recommend that you look into your backpack. So some of the things I really enjoy myself is having a well ventilated as well as a good suspension system so that it's comfortable on my back and so that when it's really hot, I'm not super sweaty in my back. Number 1. Number 2, I really enjoy having outside pockets on either side to put my water bottle. Another great feature I really appreciate is having a pocket on the outside of my pack so I can leave my rain gear in there and a couple of snacks or even the, today's food, so that I don't have to dig inside my backpack to have access to it during the hike, during the day. Also, another super cool feature I really enjoy is the bottom part of your pack to be separated, or to have the option to separate it from the rest of your backpack, because it is a fantastic place to stuff in your sleeping bag or your quilt there, so that it gives you and molds a really good bottom of your pack. Another feature that would be really nice that I don't have on my backpack would be hip belt pockets. Now, considering all of the features that I said that I enjoyed about a backpack, I looked on Amazon and I found, in my opinion, the best option for both men and women from the same company that kind of doesn't break the bank but has all of these features attached to it. And the backpack that I have found for you guys is the Gregory Stout 75 liters. I have not tried this particular backpack myself, but I have tried other Gregory packs in the past, and let me tell you, their suspension system is one of a kind. It's extremely comfortable, it's well ventilated, as well as this particular pack will hold all the features that I look for in a backpack myself. And I found the women's version, which is the Gregory Amber 60 liters. It's the exact same thing as the Stout, it's just a bit smaller to fit the ladies better. And by the way, before we go on, I'll leave links in the description below of all the items I'll be covering today so you can get your hands on them if you're interested or if you need any of them. So that covers everything you need to know about the backpack. Now let's dive into your sleep system. Here's the deal. When it comes to sleep system, I've neglected one piece of my sleep system for way too long. So I'm just dropping some knowledge here. Don't do what I did. If you can invest good money on one piece of gear across the board, please invest it in your sleeping pad. I understand that it's not the most glamorous piece of gear to spend money on, but it's one that will provide you with comfort, a restful sleep. It will also keep you warm at night. For the longest time, what I used is a self-inflatable sleeping pad from MEC, which did the job great, but if I had to do it all over again, even if I didn't have the money and if I was thinking of only going late spring to early fall and everything in between, I would definitely go for an inflatable pad air mattress. The difference is pretty drastic when you look at the thickness and the comfort level between an inflatable pad and a self-inflatable pad, which usually has a memory foam in it. That's why it self-inflates. And you can go up to almost 4 inches on an inflatable pad. And if you're a side sleeper, you really want to get your hips off the ground. Inflatable pads are definitely the way to go in terms of comfort. Now, in terms of our value, if you're not willing to put a little bit of money into your sleeping pad, you're going to be better served with a self-inflatable pad because they're going to have a higher R value just because it's got a foam layer in there that really keeps you much warmer. So if I only have one pad to tell you to buy, in my opinion, it's the Thermarest Xlite right here. As I said, compared to other pads, it's quite expensive, but this inflates to 2.5–3 inches thick. It's super comfortable and it keeps you super warm for 3 seasons. I understand that paying that kind of money for a sleeping pad, it's not accessible for everyone. So like I said, I have an option for you, and that option is the Trekology UL80. I've purchased that pad last summer and tried it a couple of times, and let me tell you, for the price, it is phenomenal. It inflates to 3.9 inches thick. It's got a great one-way valve for easy inflation, and the valve rips open completely for an easy deflation, and so you can roll it and put it away. It packs fairly small, and the R value is 1.6 to 2. So if you're an extremely cold sleeper and you're planning to go at the end of the spring or early fall, forget that. Don't buy that sleeping pad. It's not warm enough for you. But if you're a regular, not a cold or not a warm sleeper, you're just a regular sleeper. I don't know if that exists. We should come up with a name, obviously. But if you're just somewhere in between and you don't want to spend $200+ on a sleeping pad, that is a great option. Super comfortable, fairly warm. It'll do the job just fine. All right, moving right along to your sleeping bag now, or your quilt. There are so many options and great options out there between synthetic and down and sleeping bags and quilts and some weird version in between. Let's just get a sleeping bag. A comfort rating of anywhere between 0 and 10 degrees Celsius to me would be a good option for the season that we're going out. If you're a cold sleeper, go closer to 0. If you're a warm sleeper, go closer to 10, whatever you might find. And if you can afford it, and if you can find a good option like I found, get a down-filled version of that sleeping bag. It's going to be lighter, it's going to be more compactable, it's going to be all in all much better. And I found for you guys a great option on Amazon that kind of has everything that I just suggested for you, and that is the Outdoor Ultralight Goose Down Sleeping Bag from Aegismax. I have not tried this sleeping bag personally. I've watched tons of reviews online of people actually really enjoying it, and I purchased last winter a pair of down pants from Aegismax that I am extremely satisfied with, and because of that, I'd be super comfortable buying this sleeping bag, and I might actually get it. So, but don't tell my wife. Shh. All right, moving right along again, your sleep system. Now, this is not an essential part of your sleep system, but it really makes a huge difference in the quality of your sleep, and that is a camping pillow. The one that I use myself and the one that I recommend everyone, it's the Trekology pillow. This is the first version that they came up with. Now the second version has even more bells and whistles that are actually very valuable. And for the price of these, you can't go wrong. This will conclude our sleep system. Now moving right along, we're gonna dive right into our shelter system. Again, shelters, there are so many different ways. You can go from a hammock to tent, to a single wall tent, double wall tent, freestanding tent, trekking pole tent, semi-freestanding tents. The options are almost endless. Once again, for someone who's just starting, that's never gone out, let's keep it simple. Let's keep it with something familiar that you're already most likely familiar with, and that is a freestanding 2-wall tent. I have found the best tent for you guys. Cheap option, but great option. I have been rocking this tent actually for 4 years now, and I'm super happy with it. I still use it when I go alone. But that is the Fly Creek 2-person tent. Listen, it's not the smallest tent you can find out there. It's not the lightest tent you can find out there, but it's a great budget option. It's got enough room for yourself in there. If you're a little taller, I'm 5'10" and I almost hit end to end on there, so if you're 6 foot or 6'2", you might want to sleep at an angle. That's fine. I know that this says it's a 2-person tent. Don't try to put 2 people in there. It's really a 1-person shelter. It's got double vestibule in there, so you can leave all of your gear outside and you'll have enough room to have some of the gear inside. So that concludes for your big 3. Now, like I said, I like to throw a 4th one in there because it is an essential to go out, and it's kind of a fun piece of gear as well, and that is your cook system. Over the year, I've come up with a perfect cook system that, in my opinion, there are no better cooking options out there. It is cheap, it's lightweight. When it's all put together, it is less than a pound, including the gas as well. So let me show this to you real quick. Again, all the links will be in the description below, but it's a simple homemade koozie, which, hey, if you guys want to know how to make those, let me know. I'll make a video about it. Just drop it in the comments. Okay, it's a simple 750 milliliter titanium cup. What I like about the 750 milliliter version is that your gas canister, now this is the medium version, so there are 3 sizes, small, medium, and large. It's the medium, it won't fit in there, but the small version, I didn't have one to show you guys, nests right in here. So you'll have in there the small can of gas, and you're gonna have a Bic lighter, just a mini Bic lighter that you can use, as well as the BRS Stove, classic stove out there. And then in terms of utensil, you can use anything that you want. You can even use something you have at home, but if you can get your hand on a long spork, titanium spork, or even an aluminum spork, it's gonna be the same thing. What I really enjoy myself is having a long handle so that when I go into my dehydrated meals, I don't get all my hands dirty.